The theme of sacrifice is common in anime, with roots in the most base desires of humanity to protect the greater good at the cost of oneself. Throughout Attack on Titan, sacrifice has been a central theme of the Survey Corps, who go beyond the wall to fend off the Titans, and hopefully recover land lost to them. But while many people have already sacrificed their lives, no other season has made it as bloody a war of attrition as it's become, on both sides. Spoilers ahead for Season 3's Part 2. You've been warned. Looking back to the beginning of the series, we see thousands of people going about their daily lives, hundreds of people training to become part of the military force, and a sizable contingent of Survey Corps specifically out beyond the wall. But as time has gone on, each of these subsets of people have fallen in what we've come to know as a war between humanity and Titans this far into the series. The Titans want to exterminate humanity, and they've come very close to doing so, especially with nearly the entire Survey Corps reduced to a single squad. Erwin's decision to stake the fate of the war on a suicidal charge of the remaining Survey Corps members, led by himself, may have won the day in the end, buying Levi enough time to invalidate the Beast Titan, but it also tremendously reduced the available forces left to fight in the war that's still raging. Erwin's sacrifice of both his life and curiosity is perhaps the most humanizing aspect of Erwin, a person who seems so aloof and above all the goings-on in pursuit of his goal. But recognizing that he'll never get to satisfy that curiosity, breaking down in front of Levi to let him know how he feels, lets us see just how much Erwin himself is sacrificing for the greater good, how broken, sociopathic even, he is to consider throwing his life and the lives of hundreds of his men away for the slim chance of victory for humanity. Erwin himself realizes that he's a demon, someone who uses the people to serve his own ends. He never had a goal beyond killing all the Titans and seeing if it was all worth it through whatever was in Eren Yeager's basement. In many ways, Erwin fails where Eren succeeds. Eren, just like Erwin before him, was nothing but a vessel to kill all of the Titans, and to find out what was in the basement for such a long stretch of the series. The dream of reaching the sea he promised to Armin, long forgotten until recently. But it's only through Erwin's sacrifice here, and again when the decision came down to him or Armin, that Eren gets the chance to change. That Armin gets to realize his dream of seeing the sea. Erwin's goals were never selfless, and none of his sacrifices ever were either. Not until the end. That's why Armin's sacrifice, and even his dream, must have reached Erwin in his dying state. He gave up the chance for revival, the one selfless action he ever took that hurt nobody but himself. But while humanity has sustained losses, tremendous ones, so too have the Titans, with hundreds of mindless Titans being cut down even just by the people we've seen on screen, let alone the long years since Eren lost his home and even before that. And now we've come to the point where the intelligent Titans are beginning to suffer losses themselves, with Annie captured, Ymir perhaps executed, Bertolt being eaten by a newly Titan-fused Armin, and Reiner nearly killed several times in the last battle. Not to mention, we found that the Beast Titan is no match for Levi. While we don't know how many intelligent Titans there are left in the world, we can only assume that since the Armored, Colossal, and Beast Titan are spoken of as so powerful even by they themselves in private, some of their best forces are being expended and whittled down at this point, and most recently by overconfident mistakes made by these humans piloting these Flesh Gundams. Bertolt's decision to abandon that so-called weak part of him, the human part of him that hated to see people hurt, to rescue Annie and resolve to kill the people who he grew to love is another sacrifice. But just like Erwin's sacrifice for selfish motivations, the end result is not going to go so well for Bertolt. While rescuing Annie is supposedly selfless as a concept on its own, we know that Bertolt has a crush on her, and only Reiner's words of encouragement to save her so she might fall in love with Bertolt is what finally manages to steal him. This is obviously a very selfish motive, steered wrong by Reiner, a man who's split down the middle in some way through his various loyalties. And it's this supposedly steel wheel that finally becomes his undoing, using his powers to sacrifice portions of his muscle to burn Armin alive, long enough for Eren to take advantage of this laser focus and cut Bertolt out of his colossal Titan form. It is just then that he falls to Armin's Titan in the end, undone by the one person in the world who saw and attempted to treat him as the person he was all along. Armin's own sacrifice of his very life is the pathway to the future for humanity as a whole, selflessly giving his life alone to eliminate a threat. Unlike Erwin, who often uses the people around him to sacrifice themselves or just to follow him into suicidal charges, Armin understands and empathizes with people enough to find other ways where and when he can. No doubt Armin's almost assured ascension to Erwin's place as the commander of the Survey Corps will require him to sacrifice some lives, but I also suspect it will be in ways that minimize the loss of life as he has done so far. It's also possible that he might just become a second command or even the third in command to Hanjay and Levi, in which case his status as an advisor will continue to help and aid those who need it. Of course, the tendency to sacrifice oneself in favor of subordinates could endanger the larger war effort, but thanks to the Titan powers Armin now has, he's a lot harder to kill than he was previously. Paired with his intelligence, it's completely possible that Armin will be able to come up with new strategies using the Colossal Titan that use what little power the humans have left to greater effect. Because as of now, the humans have 2 Titans on their side, while the Intelligent Titans have a weakened Reiner and the Beast Titan left as far as we know. It's possible there are more intelligent Titans on their side, but if that's not true, both sides are going to have to desperately sacrifice more and more to attain their goals.